With rising temperatures, increases in drought, and infections sweeping lucrative farms and forests, a good chunk of our global food supply is on the brink of extinction. While we're no crystal ball-clad psychics, we dug up some research that suggests these 13 foods may disappear or drastically subside in the coming years. Unfortunate as it is, it might be time to kick that caffeine and cocoa addiction to the curb. Find out what else you may have to come to terms with living without. With no delays further, let's just jump right in. Number 1. Avocado. Besides smashed on toast or blended into guacamole, avocado is snuck into everything from hummus to ice cream, lending unexpected eats of verdant hue and mega dose of monounsaturated fats. And with avocado toast on practically every brunch menu possible, we just can't imagine the world without this fruit. Much to our dietary dismay, this might be one of the first extinct fruits, as just 1 pound of avocados require a whopping 72 gallons of water to grow, and 98% of California is in a drought condition, so the ramifications are much broader than whether someone can get an avocado in New York City. Number 2. Chocolates. Because the cacao tree is susceptible to pests and fungal diseases such as witch's broom that wiped out 80% of Brazil's total cocoa output in the early 1990s, scientists fear that these infections can potentially wipe chocolate into extinction due to the plant's limited genetic variation. Climate change also poses a serious threat to our precious cocoa. The danger to chocolate comes from an increase in evapotranspiration. As higher temperatures squeeze more water out of soil and plants, it's unlikely that rainfall will increase enough to offset the moisture loss. Number 3. Potato chips. According to a study conducted by Biodiversity International and the International Rice Research Institute, up to 25% of wild potato species are predicted to become extinct by 2055 due to climate change, spelling the demise of our favorite crunchy munchie. Number 4. Coffee. A hotter climate and changing rainfall patterns as a result of global warming are affecting one of the world's most coveted forms of caffeine. A report by the Climate Institute predicts that by 2050, the global area suitable for coffee production could be slashed in half. Coffee production is forecasted to move away from the equator, posing deforestation risk as well as more extreme weather conditions upslope that are likely unsuitable for mass coffee yields and expected quality. Jim Hanna, Director, Environmental Affairs at Starbucks, said in the report that, "What we are really seeing as a company as we look 10, 20, 30 years down the road if conditions continue as they are, is a potentially significant risk to our supply chain." Number 5. Wine. Vino lovers, brace yourselves for the demise of rose all day. A study in Nature Climate Change found that wine-bountiful regions such as Napa and Sonoma are becoming too hot to grow wine grapes, driving a potential 85% production loss over the next 50 years. Number 6. Strawberries. Huelva, Spain's leading agricultural region, produces 312,065 tons of strawberries per year, of which 80% are exported. Unfortunately enough, the study found that climate change, specifically, the relationship between the rate of production and temperature, resulted in reductions in strawberry crop reductions in recent decades. Number 7. Maple syrup. Mineral-rich maple syrup may not be an option to drench your waffles with if climate change abides by a bleak trajectory. Just 50 years ago, a sugar maple sap was 4% sugar, now it's 2, adding that there's a direct correlation between the syrup's sweetness reduction and temperature rise, as sugar maples require freezing temperatures. Because of the lower sugar content, more sap is needed to bring the maple syrup to its required 66.9% sugar content in the finished product. So while it used to take 25 gallons of sap to make a gallon of pure maple syrup, it now takes 50. Number 8. Peanuts. The study by Biodiversity International and the International Rice Research Institute found that 18 to 25% of peanut species may become non-existent by 2055. Since the peanut butter staple requires nearly 5 months of consistent warmth and approximately 20 to 40 inches of rainfall that abates by harvest season, in addition to moist soil that prevents toxic mold, the legume can be difficult to grow in the face of climate change. Number 9. Fish. An eye-opening World Wildlife Fund report discovered that over 85% of global fish stocks in our oceans are at significant risk of illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, posing a major threat to many endangered species such as the Atlantic bluefin tuna. Over 30% of the world's fisheries have been pushed beyond their biological limits and are in need of strict management plans to restore them, adding that many commercial fish populations such as Atlantic bluefin tuna have declined to the point where their survival as a species is threatened. Number 10. Honey. It's no secret the mass and mysterious decline of honeybees over recent years has endangered the existence of our global food supply. The demise of bee colonies has been widely linked to pesticide use and climate change. Number 11. Cherries. If you're buying US-grown cherries, chances are they're hailing from Washington, Michigan, California, Oregon, or Wisconsin. Problem is, Michigan and Washington farmers are growing increasingly concerned about the rising temperature as they pose threat to cherry production. Number 12. Soybean. Researchers found that soybean crops could experience a whopping 40% reduction by the end of the century as global warming continues, posing a threat to our sushi staples such as tofu and edamame. Also, lack of water resulting from temperature increases seems to be a bigger factor than the rising temperatures. For each day climbing above 86 degrees Fahrenheit, there's a chance that soybean harvests can drop by about 5%. Number 13. Cereal grains. While the global demand for corn, rice, and wheat is projected to increase 33% by 2050, according to the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, a study found that grain-growing croplands may become obsolete due to unpredictable weather patterns. Major wheat-producing countries including the US, China, India, and France would be hit, and that's seriously bad news since wheat, maize, and rice crops account for 51% of worldwide calorie intake. So there you have it. Let's remember the importance of sustainability and responsible consumption. By making informed choices and supporting initiatives that promote conservation, we can strive to preserve these delicacies for generations to come. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more thought-provoking content. Together, let's safeguard the future of our food supply. Until next time, stay curious and stay mindful. Goodbye.